Greetings and salutations, everyone. The Warcraft name has surfaced under many different titles and faces throughout the years, from its early first steps as an RTS 3 times with Warcraft's entries and its respective expansions, to its powerful and still standing punch as an MMO in World of Warcraft, and even acting out in other forms in Hearthstone and the now maintenance mode Rumble. Yep. I haven't forgotten about that one. We've received many entries over the years, and with a successful IP, therein lies an opportunity for Blizzard to strike gold, much like they have with WoW itself. Now, I could go on all day about how they should find a studio or streaming service to greenlight a Warcraft TV series that's been rumored about. And that's another pocket of gold to strike at, specifically a gritty RPG that the ESRB would have no choice but to give it an M rating. Blizzard is no stranger to creating a gritty fantasy. Just take a look at Diablo and how they were able to weave a story based off the mythos and world building of Hell coming to Earth, or in this case, Sanctuary. They could even take examples from God of War,
I am hungry,
or Witcher, giving the players a narrative where it's focused on a major character rather than us, the champion. Yeah, the Warcraft IP has stood the test of time, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon, hopefully. That said, as the years go on, the people get older and they slowly drift away from their favorite games, there has to be at least one thing Blizz can pull out from their bag of tricks. Ideally, it would have to be something that could be done that the MMO or the RTS just couldn't do. But don't get it twisted. Warcraft having so many different games and so many different mediums is ultimately still a good thing. Though, just because I'm making this video entirely doesn't mean that I want all other Warcraft adjacent IPs to simply cease to exist or be on a permanent maintenance mode. Oh no! I am very much a fan of the waffles, pancakes, and French toasts here. I love French toast, if you get my drift. Man, I am hungry though. Ooh. Anyways, enough breakfast talk. I'll do my best to explain a couple of pillars for who, what, when, and why for a potential gritty Warcraft RPG. So, buckle in and let me indulge on my favorite IP and what it could be. Like all Warcraft games, they know exactly who they're catering towards. Many of the faces from over the 20 years ago are still going strong in today's world and today's era. Thrall, Jaina, Illidan, Tyrande, Maiev, Rexxar. Naturally, all of those characters still resonate with a good chunk of Warcraft's audience. Sure, they could establish a new character or a lesser-known character with this hypothetical game, but that has diminishing returns, and it follows a pretty similarly to what I say about a show. Warcraft's first major new game should be focused on a character everyone's basically familiar with. Historically, it has worked very well for several IPs to include the main players of the Warcraft narrative, and it'll get people invested and interested, I think. Two examples that I have lined up with this in mind are Illidan and Thrall respectively. First, with Illidan, we could see what sort of cosmic adventures he's been up to since staying behind on the seat of the Pantheon to imprison Sargeras. And this could also help connect whatever is coming up with the Last Titan and such and all that. Whatever he's been up to since then, and it would kind of give some hype to the upcoming finale to the World Soul Saga. Or, you know, if it takes place after the World Soul Saga, gives us a little bit more time with the character should he die or turn to stone, what have you. Whatever happens with Illidan and Last Titan. Hopefully it's not death, but who knows anymore. And with Thrall, we could see a very grizzled and disheveled, perhaps sometime in the future between the World Soul Saga or whatever comes afterwards in the same vein. The latter is something up my alley, but let's be real, are you even surprised? There's also been, and I will say this is, not in the script, but, it's been in the rumor mill, and rumor mill is a rumor mill. But there's also been the rumor of Arthas Menethil getting his own game. Not too crazy about that. I think Arthas has had his time in the sun, and I don't really think he needs to be, but hey, I'm not fully against it if it still sinks in the same level that we're asking for regarding Illidan and Thrall. Anyways, want to get that off my chest before continuing with the video. But imagine being able to wield the elements with Thrall, while we take on the adversaries around Azeroth as Thrall, or unleashing the demon within as Illidan. Both would use specific weapons and abilities that are iconic and define their characters against their enemies, especially those that both Illidan and Thrall have used extensively. Like I've mentioned, there are multiple characters we can place in established narrative, place one or more of them in these sorts of adventures, and we'll be able to explore more about their characters, more about their journeys, be it their past, present, or future. And it doesn't necessarily need to be Illidan or Thrall or Arthas, as I had mentioned. It could be that Rexxar guy. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, haha. But what about what we could see them doing? One of the biggest strengths of Warcraft 3 was that it not only gave us chapters focusing on specific races and any conflicts that they're dealing with, the arcs, their cultures, etc., it establishes a woven narrative on central characters, and it sets them up for the future. Thrall was, and still is, an integral figure for the orcs, and if you're anything like me, he's the sole reason as to why you, or me, were set on the orcs in the first place, and why Warcraft itself has had me in a death grip for over 20 years now. And again, unlike in World of Warcraft, where I would argue that they could focus on characters that have been central to the plot and have been revered among the fanbase, they're not particularly the major focus or the goal of the game. World of Warcraft, in its 21+ year run, has told multiple stories and has seemingly followed through some of its arcs and has pushed to tell its main narrative through world building, despite its expansive cast of characters where it can be difficult to focus on more than one. A perfect scenario would have us shine a spotlight on a specific character as someone we can control and guide through the world, make conscious choices, and these choices would impact the world and how other characters approach us later on. As for the what, we've established a who. Thrall, as it comes as no surprise to absolutely no one, we have seen his character evolve and go through conflict and strife since Warcraft 3, so it's time for him to go on a new journey. We would see him go up against a current threat, whatever that may be. Perhaps he is on a mission to save his family, or is trapped beyond Azeroth and makes his way back home. There is a ton of potential for this character and what he's been up to, either after a big saga or during the saga, what have you. With Thrall being the main protagonist, we would build the world around him and make new additions to his story. What would those be? New antagonists? Old ones? Locals? Maybe he could encounter characters that we know and love as well along in his journey, like Tyrande and Malfurion, Rexxar, Maiev, Jaina, etc. There's a lot that they can do with old and new faces. And we could do new conflicts for him to wrestle with. Using the same formula from Warcraft 3 would give the world and its characters a little extra oomph. But considering we've milked the original RPG dry, we're overdue for a newer and much more updated story in the future. Warcraft as an RPG MMO has had a concentrated story taking place within a time span ranging from when the Dark Portal opened to now, where we're facing off against Xal'atath and Devouring Host. It makes sense to either continue immediately after the World Soul Saga and develop a narrative where we deal with the ramifications and the fallout of the World Soul Saga, or alternatively to have it happen years and years after all is said and done. Or perhaps have it take place way before the opening of the Dark Portal as an untold story. But we'll stick with the former since there's much more to tell with the game's future. Try to imagine a gritty dystopian future almost similar to the movie Logan, where it almost feels like everyone is at someone's throat for a specific reason, or because they may want them dead. Considering we've put ourselves in a specific time frame for the last 22-ish years, it's worth the risk to put ourselves into the future, with no infinite bronze dragonflight BS. And I get it, this might not be everyone's cup of tea. Some folks prefer to stick with the tried and true with only playing MMO, and whatever falls WoW's narrative direction. That's fine. I know plenty of people who have never played Warcraft 3 and absolutely love the content given to them in World of Warcraft. It should never be a requirement to understand WoW by playing the likes of Hearthstone, Warcraft 3, or even Heroes of the Storm, for ones that still play it. You know I will. So, in this case, I don't think they should make it a necessity for people to play whatever this RPG is going to be. They can give nods to it through books or through quests, etc. I don't think that you should make it a requirement, but I do think that it will help give people context to what the hell is going on. Bringing it home, let's ask ourselves this question: why make another WoW game given what we've discussed so far? Well, let's put it this way, we've grown up with the game. Some of you, I can imagine, have shared fond memories of the game with friends, family, and still find time to create those memories, even if certain circumstances in your life keep you from coming back to Azeroth again. For me personally, it's my escape. It's been my whole identity from time someone uttered the word Warcraft into my ear. That's got me into the books, the games, its expansions, spin-offs, every medium you can imagine. I'm at or near the front of the line, ready to consume that good old tasty Warcraft content. Warcraft 3 is maybe the only one that comes close to feeling like a story-driven game with a tone close to WoW's, but told differently compared to World of Warcraft. Outside of WoW, I've gotten acquainted with various other games. It's had me thinking about how to maintain a thunderous heartbeat that would vector us into the next 20 years of storytelling, as Chris Metzen once said.
That will vector us into the next 20 years of adventure.
Now, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. I'm not dooming World of Warcraft by any means. We don't do that here. It's more of a what if. Like, what if we meticulously combine the story of characters of Warcraft with the same pattern and rhythm of The Witcher or the God of War or Kingdom Hearts, minus Thrall going,
"Say, fellas, did somebody mention the door to darkness?"
and show up in a cool anime trip, like myself. For as long as I can recall, there has been a huge demand for a World of Warcraft 2. No expansion, just a reset to the original, and honestly, we don't need that at all. Even if it looks like the story is careening towards it, seeing any form of sequel for WoW as an MMO just seems like it would do more harm than good, especially to those who have sunk a lot of time into this game. Just for all of it to disappear in one fell swoop. It's just better to focus on WoW as its own beast. Why are we talking about this? Because once upon a time, Blizzard had plans to develop a God of War-like game with Thrall as the main character. Not quite sure what happened to this supposed venture, but it eventually got scrapped, which is absolutely heartbreaking, because of course it would absolutely just be killer to just get to play within my favorite fictional universe and have the main character be Thrall, who is my boy, besides Rexxar, of course. That being said, I want more games centered around this IP. I can gush on and about what a game could really use. Rexxar, jeez, how many times are we going to mention him? And how much this game is missing, Rexxar, and what we can secure the longevity of a successful franchise, Rexxar. To blend all of that with the writing and development of The Witcher and God of War would be blending my two favorite ice cream flavors together, chocolate chip and mint. If only there was a way to blend those two together. And that about wraps up my long-winding thoughts on the matter. Blizzard has the capability to create and craft a much more mature RPG set in the Warcraft universe, so let me know what you think. Are you for it? What would you like to see? And who would you want to be the main character and the focus? Tell me more down below, as always. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I've been Chronos, your lovely time demigod and host. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos like this one in the future. Be sure to join the Discord for more discussions with myself and the community, and a special thanks to the patrons and YouTube community members to help keep this channel alive and well. But until next time, my friends, see ya!